particular, one story that really stood out to us was Danny's story, so I'll let him tell you this.
What's up, guys? My name's Danny. I'll share some of my story. My mom, there was a civil war in her country, and she had to leave the country, Nicaragua, to come to the United States. And fast forward, so my first year of college, everything's cool. I have financial aid, I have student loans, and I have a job lined up with the work-study program. I have access to food and a place to live on campus, and everything was taken care of. Year 2, I no longer had access to the dormitory, and I went out to live on my own. I had a financial gap, so I built up about $10,000 in credit card debt to close that gap. By my 4th year, I had to drop out of college because I couldn't afford to support myself and pay for my credit cards. I'm back in school now. I'm working full-time. I'm going part-time. Her idea really spoke to me, and we talked about kind of my journey, how I got here, and it really contributed a lot to the solution that we came up with, and that's what she did.
All right, so Danny is like, one in a million students. This is going on everywhere. Public education is really in crisis. There's about 50 million students right now enrolled in undergraduate public education. Average cost about $18K a year. About more than half of students leave and graduate with student debt. The average graduate has about 24K in debt. And what's amazing is that about 85% of students have unmet financial need, which we're calling the gap. Financial barriers increase college dropout, and what we're seeing is there's more debt and more people graduating without degrees. So it's really incredible and a really pressing social need that we wanted to find a solution for. So what do we mean by the gap? There's cost, which is tuition, textbooks, cost of living, personal transportation, all that. And then you have financial aid, which consists of scholarships, loans, grants, and family contribution, which is a formula that's determined by this federal formula. It's how much your family is expected to contribute. And what happens is even after you minus the financial aid from the cost, there's a gap. And the gap can be anywhere between $1,000 to $20,000. And this gap ranges depending on the student's case, depending on the school, depending on the income level. There's a lot of different features that goes into that. It's really highly complex. I've done a lot of research in the last 2 months. It's an incredibly complex landscape. So what's our innovation? Well, we wanted to really focus on closing this gap. And what we want to do is leverage trends that we're seeing in social media and crowdfunding for this social issue. So we want to make it fun and engaging for both students and sponsors. Our mission, reduce financial barriers to college completion by using technology and social media. So, next slide, yeah. So what are we talking about? Well, it's really simple. We've seen it before. A web-based platform that connects students with their sponsor networks. So we'll host social media. We'll have some payment processing. And the idea is that we really want to innovate on the level of feedback, which is we were talking, we were having a few conversations, and that seems like a place where there could be a lot of, we can really fulfill that area, that gap. What we're seeing is that a lot of people give sponsorships or micro scholarships, but they're not seeing feedback in the form of social content or through the college journey what's happening. How many of us even connected with our parents and our family when we were in college and showed like a college essay or something that we were doing. So value proposition to students, engage with sponsor networks, tell their stories in an authentic way that, like Danny did, and, close this gap. With, with networks, invest in future generations. They get to follow the college journey through social media and receive fun and engaging rewards. So in 10 words or less, we want to be sort of like the Kickstarter for college education, for financing college education. So we were able to put up this like Facebook page. It's really rudimentary. It's Danny sort of pitching a version of his story, and what he's done here is he's created an incentive. So Danny loves Afro-Cuban music. He's a drummer. That's his passion. So for a $5 micro scholarship, he'll send you his favorite Afro-Cuban song, Rumba song. If you give him a $25 micro scholarship, he'll send you a virtual music lesson on claves, which are like drumming sticks, and he'll give you an Afro-Cuban song. And if you give him a $50 micro scholarship, he'll send you a pair of claves, a virtual music lesson, and his favorite song. So you guys can actually go onto this Facebook app. The URL is in the bottom there. We encourage you to go check it out. Give us feedback on everything. So future monetization, we're thinking, well, transaction fees. Yeah, like Yeah, have you thought about rather than being a scholarship, it's actually program where you pay the money back, but in a very reasonable way, so it's not like the person of credit card that's where the students are putting money back into the pool and you fund students, a little bit like actually that. Yeah, yeah. There are peer-to-peer lending platforms right now. There's people doing stuff with education loans. It's mostly international, not so much domestic. So yeah, that's something I've been thinking about. That maybe we should go the loan model instead of scholarship. Yeah, thank you.
Is the idea to funnel this through 501c3 so that donations are tax deductible?
Yeah, we've been thinking about that too. Originally, I was thinking 501c3, but I'm not sure now. So if you have any advice on that, that'd be great. I think after some more A/B testing and piloting, I didn't get to mention next steps, which is that I've been speaking with local scholarship funds and some that work with low-income minority students. So I'm going to see if I can actually fundraise for one or two of them first. And after that A/B testing, I think I'll have a greater sense of what kind of maybe model.
So, just as somebody who's donating, what can you do? Like, if I'm going to give $50 and the need is, several thousand.
Yeah.
To what degree can I feel like I'm actually making a difference, and that this student is going to make it?
Yeah.
Feedback that we're generating. We're talking about building an online social platform so that you can monitor their progress. And it's kind of, the goal is to build a cause and effect feedback form so you can see exactly what your $50 did. Maybe it's not the $50 that's going to be the big deal, but overall, when you help to reach that tipping point and complete the whole scholarship, you can see what the result of that was.
I think maybe a little more research on crowdsourcing and how people feel about crowdsourcing towards goals might give us insights on that too. That's a good point.
Is there the element of following it from an educational rating, from grades to where you are in your progress in classes and things like classes?
Yeah, I think that could be really, there could be a lot of room for innovation there because we don't see that that's happening a lot with students giving feedback about their academic progress. However, really having to understand the user and the student, like is a student going to feel compelled to give that kind of information? Like how accountable do they want to feel? So I think really doing more field research and speaking with students, which I'm doing next weekend. A few of them are coming back for Thanksgiving, some UC kids who have a real gap. So I'll get to speak with them and get a feel for it.
All right, thank you guys.
Hi, I'm Alexis. This is Gwen, our developer. We are Crowd Market, which is an estimate service goods market, particularly in emerging economies, developing countries. Let me first introduce you to our user. This is Reba. She's 34. She lives in rural India. She has several children. She has a mobile phone. It looks like this. Except hers probably has a flashlight built into it. The one I had.
No, yeah, for your chest pounding to calm down.
Come on. So I'm making a profile for you to raise some money for your gap. Yeah.
Raise some money, can you make a scholarship?
Yeah. Make me Roomba song. Huh?